And sit up tall. If your legs don't cross easily, just stretch your legs out, but come away from the wall or come away from leaning into anything. See if you can get your back to come up nice and long and straight, and let your hands rest on your knees. Whether the palms are up or down, doesn't matter. And as you sit up nice and long and tall, allow yourself to feel what's happening inside your nose. And just let your eyes drop to the floor, either at your knees if your legs are straight out, or just in front of your ankles if your legs are crossed. So you're still sitting up nice and tall. Your chin is kind of level with the floor. It's not dropped down towards your chest. You want to let your shoulders relax down your back a little bit, so you almost feel like you got a longer neck than you thought you had. So as you relax into your posture, you can choose to close your eyes or just leave them settled down towards the floor so that your focus on everything else in the room is kind of limited. And that's a good thing, paying attention to what's happening inside your own four corners. So if you choose to close your eyes or not, let the breath come in and out through your nose. So your lips are softly closed. Leave some space between your teeth so that your jaw can stay nice and soft. And as you inhale, notice that the breath inside your nostrils and your sinuses is cool and dry. So just feel that for a few minutes. Now if you can take your attention to one more sensation, as you inhale, notice that your belly opens out. If you can relax your shoulders and let your belly open out, then you're taking as much breath as you can in. When you exhale, you'll feel your torso and the belly compress just a little bit. So inhaling, you move into a little bit of expansion in the torso. And exhaling, you allow that contraction. The breath is deep and smooth, without any sound, without any pause. Nice natural rhythm. And try to keep the mind's focus on the sensation inside your nose. And then very softly, open your eyes. Just let them softly gaze at the floor. And see if you can keep your attention on the way that breath feels. But now, take your attention to the back of your throat. So when you inhale through the nose, you feel cool and dry in the sinuses and the nostrils. When you exhale, it becomes warm and the sensation moves to the back of your throat. So you may not have ever noticed that before. Practicing a little bit of mindfulness on the sensations gives you a piece of information that you didn't have. And now you know that. So if you're ever in a position where you feel distressed or distracted and you want to be able to come back into yourself, notice those sensations. And if you allow the focus to be inside yourself, it brings you right where you are. Can you allow yourself to feel the buttocks settling down into the floor? Can you be mindful of your feet crossed underneath you or stretched out in front of you? Feel the part of your body that is settling into the floor and keeping you supported. So this workshop itself, if you come into the room and allow yourself to just sit comfortably, you can open your eyes. And my point in bringing you to this workshop for better sleep is just to give you some ideas and tools that you can take home with you. If there's any issue with your sleeping, if you find that your nights are interrupted on a regular basis, that the sleep doesn't come for any specific length of time, very long, a lot of times we have daily stresses, and then there's combat stress, and stress from trauma, whatever that happens to be in your life, where it comes from, that draws us out of sleep. We don't get restful. But sleep is governed by the parasympathetic nervous system. So it also governs your digestion. So with yoga, there was a study at Kripalu Institute in Massachusetts. It's a place for yoga and health. And they do a lot of studies there and have subjects, because there's so many classes that can give them information that we tend to find on our own, but now it's all documented. So the parasympathetic nervous system operating and governing the sleep cycles and your digestion, if you give some attention to it, it tends to get a little bit better. So anytime you practice things, you get better at it. If you're weightlifting and you're practicing on a regular basis, you're going to get a little bit more advanced in your practice. Same thing with yoga. It's the same thing with breathing. Excuse me. A lot of times we never even really think about it. The body tends to breathe itself. That's a good thing. So while you're here in yoga and you're practicing some mindfulness, allow yourself to just know that all you need to do is continue to be, and your breathing is going to take care of you. Same as your heartbeat, your circulation. All of those things are involuntary, but we can find a way to tweak them a little bit by becoming mindful of them. So yoga gives us that. Those are the concepts and modifications that we want to be able to learn when we come to a yoga class. I need you to know a couple of things about the way the class is happening. First of all, I have a scratchy throat, so I hate that. If anything happens on the mat today and it takes you to a place that's incredibly uncomfortable and you don't want to stay on the mat, I would ask you to please not leave. But there's a bathroom right there at the back of the room. You're welcome to step in and shut the door. Or you can come out here next to me and sit on this bench, or there's a bench by the door. So there's always a safe place for you to be if you decide that you can't calm your mind down and you don't want to stay on the mat to practice. It's fine. There isn't any wrong way to do this. I need you all to know that this is a secure space. I have my back to the door, but if anybody comes in or out, I'm the first line of defense. So I have your backs. I see the periphery. If at any place in your practice this afternoon you choose to close your eyes so that you can feel a little bit more about what's going on, please know that my eyes are always open. So there isn't going to be anything happening that's going to surprise you or startle you, is my hope. So I just make you aware of it. If there's a sound outside or something that happens in the buildings on either side of us, I will try to make you aware of what I think it is and keep the space secure. So rest easy that we're going to do a little bit of movement, a little bit of breathing. It's not going to be incredibly strenuous, and you practice at your own pace, at your own limits. I ask you always to pay attention to what your body has to say to you. It's talking all the time. If you're not comfortable, adjust it. Don't force yourself to sit in something that's not comfortable. But ask your body to do a little bit more. So take the challenge, but pay attention to your own limits. So a lot of times, if laying flat down is uncomfortable for you, you're welcome to sit up. If a posture doesn't feel right to you, you're welcome to adjust that, whatever way feels comfortable for you. Be mindful that there are people next to you. So if you want to stagger yourselves, if we're doing anything where you're going to stretch your arms out, make sure you're not taking out your neighbor, and leave your hands open so they're not fists. These are just little things that I've learned. And you'll take something home from here. My hope is that I will teach you something that will be easy enough to remember that you can do it when you get home. And then please know that I do offer a veterans yoga class twice a month at the VFW in Mars. Anybody's welcome. We also have opened it to police officers and detectives because they have their own level of PTSD. Nobody's taken us up on it yet, but they'll show up at some point. And I've just been talking to wounded warriors after waiting 2 years to try and get in their doors. And we'll probably be starting a class here in June that will take place once a week. So we get some consistency going on. Because I want you to learn what you can use to help yourself, not just come here and get instruction from me or another teacher. So with that said, there's a couple other things that are good to know about being able to sleep and aid your own comfort with sleeping. How many people are on the computer in the evenings. Pretty much. There's a blue light in the back of that screen that's a stimulator. So if you're on the computer until the time you decide to go to bed, because you're starting to fall asleep, that's happening in front of the screen, but you've been stimulated. Your brain is a little bit more awake than you think it is, even if your body's tired. So if you can step away from that light for a little bit longer than just going from that room to the bedroom, or the couch, or wherever you happen to find yourself to go to sleep, then you're adding to your ability to relax. Doing a little bit of yoga before you go to bed at night is helpful, and I'll show you some of those postures this afternoon. To be able to get the body to stretch open a little bit, increase your circulation just a little bit, but not enough to get you pumped up and then not able to sleep. So we want to be able to find a way to get a little calm with movement. And it doesn't have to be an hour practice. It doesn't have to be a class that you go drive to. It can be 5 or 10 minutes of movements and breathing that are mindful, that allow you to just lay down in bed and let it all go away. Let it all just pass. There's also caffeine is an issue. That's a given. You know, I think everybody knows that. And all the places that caffeine shows up, it's not just in coffee. It's carbonated drinks, pop, same thing, but I'm Pittsburgh, so. Chocolate, sorry. It tends to stimulate. Even the light in the phone, if you're texting or whatever you're doing before you shut it off, I'm guilty of it too, Jennifer, I can see your face. But put the phone on silent or something and just set it away. I've also noticed that my phone, the screen doesn't shut off at night, and it'll light up my ceiling. So that can be stimulating. If I'm not sleeping very deep and I happen to notice that I tend to wake up more than I used to, I have to turn the phone down and put it on something soft so that it absorbs that light and it's not going to stimulate me when I don't want it to. So there's all these little things that you can take into consideration to help yourself with your sleep patterns. There's the study at Kripalu showed that people that tend to get into, they used Bikram yoga, which is a hot yoga, and specific movements, the same movements in every class that ask an awful lot of the body. A regular practice of Bikram tends to increase your ability to sleep for longer periods of time. So how about that? But you don't want to do Bikram right before you go to bed. So all that sweating and moving and asking so much of your joints is more stimulating than it is calming. So what we practice today is something called a moon salutation, moon salutes. I usually teach sun salutations in my class. That's a lot of deep movement that asks your joints to go through range of motion. We've done all that before with the people that have been in my classes. But these practices today it's a series the same way, but it's a whole lot softer. So it's something that you want to do at night. There are back bends and things that open your heart that are wonderfully liberating, but practicing before you go to bed may be something that gives you a little bit more agitation than it does calming. So pay specific attention to those. And as you sit, just allow yourself, if you're sitting up on something, for right now, take yourself off and just allow yourself to sit against the floor, legs straight out in front of you. And soften them. If you've been on your feet or active most of the day or doing a lot of sitting during the day, just allow yourself to rock your feet in and out. There's no rhythm to it, there's no right or wrong. Just rock your feet in and out, see if you can sit up nice and tall. And what we're doing here is allowing the hip joints to get a little bit of lubrication. There's glands inside pretty much every part of us that tend to let us soften. And just relax. Allow it to happen. Keeping the posture nice and tall without any real concentrated effort. Nothing has to be intense. And then settle down into calm. And draw your toes back towards you. Sit up nice and tall. If your hamstrings are tight, this is where you're going to find out about it. So you might want to bend your knees a little tiny bit. If you can't press the back of your knees towards the floor and feel any comfort. If your hamstrings are tight, your back may tend to round. So give yourself something to sit up on. Dave and I go through this every class. Trying to sit up a little taller. Because you take some of the angle out of your hips when you come up onto a bolster. And then you can straighten your knees a little bit more, and your back stays up nice and tall. When your back is tall, your diaphragm, that place that underneath the ribs and underneath the lungs, has a tendency to move a little bit deeper, and that gives you a better breath. So if you're rounded forward, you're eliminating the space that diaphragm has. So we want to be able to sit up nice and tall. And then bring your shoulders up near your ears. Roll them back and let them come down your back. So imagine that you can feel your wings coming up nice and high, and then let them come into your back and slide down. So do it again. Shoulders come up, round them back and down. So now we're going to move with the breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. 3 more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last one. And then relax your legs, relax your posture a little bit. And let yourself open your knees. Take your feet out to the side. Sit up nice and tall. Let your hands rest in front of you. So now we're going to move from the hips. You're doing your best to keep a nice tall back. So this part of your head, right at the very top, reaches up towards the sky. You relax your shoulders, let your elbows drop down towards your thighs, and then hinge at the hips, right here. And just let yourself come forward. If it only comes 2 or 3 inches, that's fine. Listen to your anatomy. Keep the back as straight as you can. We want to avoid dropping the chin or rounding the back too deeply. Keep a nice flat back. And then just walk your hands forward a little bit against the floor. Relax them. Let the elbows be nice and soft. And if you can come a little further forward, keeping your back straight, then do that. So right about here is where you find out that your inner thigh, your groin, and your back are telling you how far you can go. Listen to it. If you don't listen to it, it's going to hurt you. So sooner or later, you end up going too far, and then something feels like it's being pinched on the inside of your knees, or maybe across your back. But leave your shoulders relaxed down your back, elbows kind of soften towards the floor. And if you can walk yourself deeper into it, then take yourself there, keeping that flat back as far as you can. If you're looking at people next to you, you're going to get up stuck in your head and start telling yourself that you're not doing it right. That's not true. Your body tells you how far you can go. Somebody might be deeper than the person next to you, and none of that really matters. So on your next inhale, you're going to press into the floor and push yourself back up to sitting. Nice deep breath. Exhale it out, shoulders down the back. Now bring your thumbs to your shoulders. Inhale, take the arms straight up. And then turn your entire torso towards that left knee. So you're keeping as long as you can. And then hinge at the hips and come all the way out, just a little bit. And then let your hands drop to the floor on either side of that left knee. Relax. Let your back round this time. Take your forehead towards that left knee. If you're not anywhere near it, it doesn't matter. Just relax yourself into it. Inhale nice and deep. Feel yourself kind of puff up a little bit. And then when you exhale, you're going to feel yourself go into it just maybe an inch deeper. On the next inhale, press into the floor, come back up to sitting. Thumbs to your shoulders. Inhale the arms all the way up. Turn your torso towards that right knee. And then exhale, come out over it. Take the hands to the floor and round down, relaxing your face towards that right knee. Feel yourself expand on the inhale. Relax a little further into it on the exhale. And then press into the floor, come back up to sitting, nice and tall. And then very softly, bring the soles of your feet together, but don't draw your heels too close to you. Just relax your knees towards the floor. And when you sit up nice and tall, you're going to have pretty much the shape of a diamond between your pelvis, your knees, and your heels. The soles of your feet are making an attempt to come together, dropping your knees out to the sides. Sit up nice and tall. And again, hinging at the hips. You're going to pay attention to what your anatomy tells you. Come with a flat back, leaning forward, just as far as you can with a flat back. And then once you're there, relax into it. Go ahead and round down. Let your forehead come towards your heels. And then feel the compression in your belly as you round forward. So your breath is not quite as deep. You'll feel yourself kind of rise up on the inhale and then relax into it, exhaling, going a little tiny bit deeper. And then on the next inhale, come back up to sitting, nice and tall. Take your hands on the outsides of your knees. Can you relax your legs into your hands and let your arms do the work to bring your knees back together and legs straight out in front of you. So we're moving with the breath. Thumbs to your shoulders. Inhale all the way up. On your exhale, turn your torso towards the left side. Leave your right hand come to the outside of that left knee. And your left hand's going to drop to the floor behind you. So sit up nice and tall on the inhale. And on the exhale, turn towards the left and look down over that left shoulder towards the wall behind you. Your eyes may go further than your chin does. No criticism. And a lot of times if you're doing work on the floor, you're welcome to close your eyes or just let your gaze drop towards the floor, down across your nose, towards the floor. While you're here, you're still breathing. So you inhale, get a little taller. And on the exhale, see if you can twist into it just a little tiny bit deeper. That's why your right hand is on the outside of that left knee. Try not to use your left hand to the floor behind you as a kickstand. So let the spine keep you up nice and tall. And one more breath, exhaling into that twist. On the inhale, bring your thumbs back to your shoulders, come back to center. And then inhale, take your arms straight up. And on the exhale, turn to the right side. Left hand comes to the outside of your right knee. Right hand into the floor behind you. Sit up nice and tall on your inhale. Nice long spine. Exhale, twist into it. Look over that right shoulder towards the wall behind you. Eyes are dropped towards the floor or closed, whichever you choose. And feel the sensations of what's happening while you breathe. Get a little taller. Exhale, twist into it a little tiny bit deeper. And then on your next inhale, bring your thumbs to your shoulders, come back to center. Inhale all the way up with your fingers reaching towards the sky. And on the exhale, just allow yourself to very softly fold forward. Try to hinge at the hips. Keep your back straight until you're there. Let your hands drop to the floor. Let your elbows drop nice and soft right out of your shoulders so you can send your shoulders down your back and let the crown of your head reach towards the wall in front of you or your toes, depending on how far you can take your forward bend. And then inhaling, look forward and come back up to sitting. One of the things I've found with yoga is anytime you move into a posture that allows you to bend forward, it's kind of an intimacy with yourself. It's also very calming. So the forward bends are going to be easier to just let yourself come into a nice quiet space rather than opening up and having so much going on around you. So let yourself come up onto your feet. I want to show you some movements, and while we learn each one of them, if you all face me, it's going to be easier because you're going to need the width of your mat. So while you're standing, let your feet come towards each other, but not necessarily right against each other. Leave a little bit of space. And I always like to tell people to check your posture by looking down at your second toes. So leave the second toes lined up with each other as if they're railroad tracks. They should be parallel. You may start to feel like you're a little pigeon-toed when you do this because we're typically used to standing with a wider base of support. But let your second toes line up with each other. Leave your hands drop down next to your hips. And then press into the floor with your feet. Let yourself feel the back of your heels settling down into the floor and the balls of your feet behind the big toe and the small toe, pressing down into the mat. And then as you inhale, rock forward onto the balls of your feet, but keep your heel on the floor. As you exhale, kind of rock your weight back into your heels. Tiny, tiny movements. Inhaling, come forward just a little bit. And exhaling, relax back into your heels. Inhaling, come forward just a bit. And exhaling, relax back into your heels. And do that for another minute. I'm going to take care of the time. But just let yourself rock a little bit. Your eyes are softly gazing at the floor, just slightly in front of you. Your attention is on what you're feeling in your feet, maybe in your shoulders, your knees. And the breath is deep and easy. staying mindful, feeling what's happening underneath your feet. Can you be aware of the material underneath the skin of your feet? And another 15 seconds. And then let yourself come to center. Press your feet down into the floor. And imagine that you're trying to draw your feet apart. So when you do that, nothing really changes except the energy that's in your hips. Pull your belly in just a little tiny bit. Send your belly button back towards your spine and scoop your tailbone under. And then bring your ribs up away from your hips so you get nice and wide here. And then inhale the arms out and up. You're welcome to keep your palms facing each other, or if you can press your hands together, keeping your elbows straight, allow yourself to go there. Get nice and long. And on the exhale, just kind of drop over to the right side. And then press your right foot down into the floor. Press your left foot into the floor. Inhale, come back up. And with the exhale, go to the other side. Inhale, come back up. Keep your palms together. Bring your hands in front of your chest. And then turn your fingers towards the floor. Try to keep the palms of your hands together and feel the stretch in your wrists. So can you bring your wrists up a little closer towards your chin, keeping your shoulders down your back. And then just bring the fingers back up. Inhale the arms out and up. Palms together. Ground your feet. And exhale over to one side. Inhale, come back up to center. And exhale to the opposite side. Inhale, come back to center. Now separate your hands and bring them straight out of your shoulders. Let your shoulders come down your back. And step your feet open to the right. So we're going to need both sides of the mat. So you stepped open to the right. Now you're going to bring your arms to goalpost pose. The palms face each other. Bring your heels in towards each other. So now your toes are turning out. Bend your knees and drop into a bit of a squat. Scoop your tailbone under. Let your low back get a little tiny bit longer. And stay here for 2 more breaths. On your next inhale, straighten your knees. Bring your arms straight out of your shoulders. And leave that left toe pointed out to the side. Turn the back heel and allow both feet to be moving towards, let's go this way. So you want the right foot turned out and the left heel drops back a little further than your toes. Arms are straight out of your shoulders. We're moving into triangle pose on the next posture. So keep your knees straight and turn your torso so that it faces the long side of your mat. Kind of feels like your knees are tweaking a little bit. So bring your feet a little closer together if it bothers your knees. And then reach all the way out over that right arm, or right leg, sorry. And drop down into triangle. If you want to put your hand on a block, I've given everybody a block, or you can put your hand on your shin. Bring your top hand behind your back. And then roll that bottom shoulder under you so your top shoulder kind of rolls back. And then let that top arm open up. Fingertips reach towards the sky. Do your best to not stop breathing. It makes me look bad. And then from right where you are, take that top arm and bring it down to the floor. One hand on either side of that front foot. And turn that left heel so that it reaches back towards the wall behind you. Now you're going to take a nice deep breath. Come up onto your fingertips. It gives you a little bit longer arms. And on the exhale, relax your elbows out to the sides and let your face come towards that right knee. If it doesn't come very close to it, don't criticize yourself. Keep your attention on what you're doing with your breath. Inhale, straighten your elbows. And exhale, soften the elbows again and lay down over that right thigh. On the next inhale, straighten your elbows. And then you're going to bend that left knee, take it to the floor, bend the right knee, and let yourself come into a lunge. So soften the right foot behind you, letting the top of your toenails come to the floor so that ankle's nice and stretched out. Come up onto your fingertips again. Inhale nice and deep so that your heart comes forward. Your shoulders go down your back a little bit. And just feel that lunge. And then bring your arms up, thumbs to your shoulders. Take your fingertips towards the sky. And you're in a nice low lunge. Pressing the top of that left foot and knee into the floor to keep your balance a little bit. Inhale nice and deep here. And on the exhale, bring both of your hands to the floor on the inside of that right foot. And then you're going to turn the left toes under, straighten that knee, and bring your right foot so that it points forward, and you're going to squat over that right knee. So one hand on either side of that right knee to the floor, and then turn your left toes towards the sky. And then bring that left foot to the floor, straighten your right knee, walk your hands across the center, and bend the left knee. Turn your right toes towards the sky. Fingertips into the floor on either side of that left knee. And then bring the right foot back down to the floor, straighten both legs, and turn towards the left side. So now your right heel is going to drop to the floor behind you, and both knees are straight. We're doing the same series backwards on the opposite side. So inhale nice and tall, come up onto your fingertips, flat back. On the exhale, bend the elbows out towards either side and lay down over that left thigh. Inhale, come up, nice flat back, straight elbows. Exhale, back down over that left thigh. Inhale, come back up nice and tall. And then turn that right heel so that your toes are kind of parallel to the back of your mat. Bring your left hand to the inside of the left foot or on the shin, and your right hand comes to the back of your waist. Roll the left shoulder under and the right shoulder back, and then let that right arm open straight up towards the sky. Back into triangle pose. Stay here for 2 more breaths. And on your next inhale, let that right arm bring you back up to standing. One hand on either side, open up to the walls on either side of you. And then as you bring your hands back down, step yourself back to the middle of your mat. Inhale your arms up, palms together overhead. Feel your feet against the mat. Exhale to one side. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale to the opposite side. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale your hands down to your heart. Turn your fingertips towards the floor. And then bring them back. Hands come down to your hips. Let your eyes gaze at the floor. And just allow yourself to either close your eyes or just take your attention inside so you can feel what's happening with your breath. Your feet against the floor. Your joints, relaxing your shoulders down your back, and letting the breath come back to center. And then come back up nice and tall, palms together in front of you. And move through it all again, inhaling all the way up, nice and tall. Allow yourself to feel your feet pressing down into the floor. Keep the tailbone scooped under so you draw the belly in just a little tiny bit, and exhale to one side. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale to the opposite side. Inhale, come back to center. Take your hands straight out of your shoulders and step to the other side. So you stepped to the right before, now you're stepping to the left. And then turn your toes. So you point your feet towards this wall on the other side of the room. Let the heel drop back. Reach all the way out over that other leg. And then drop into your triangle. So the top hand comes behind your waist. Bring the bottom shoulder under you. Let the top shoulder roll back. You're welcome to keep your gaze forward, or you can look up towards the sky. And then let that left arm come all the way up. Right arm on your side. And stay for another 2 breaths. Press your feet down into the floor and imagine that you're trying to draw your legs back together. Sometimes that gives you a little bit more balance, bringing all your attention into your feet and your torso. And then bring that top hand down to the floor. One hand on either side of that front foot, and turn that back heel so that it presses away from you. Now you're moving into pyramid pose. So you're up on your fingertips, shoulders are down your back is nice and flat, your eyes are looking at the toes on the floor. Relax the elbows out to the sides, let your face come down to that knee. Inhale, straighten your elbows. Exhale, bend the elbows out to the sides. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, relax back into it. And now take that back knee to the floor, bending the front knee, allowing yourself to come into lunge. So your fingertips are on the mat, your shoulders are down the back. Inhale nice and deep, and exhale it out. And on the next inhale, bring your thumbs to your shoulders, your torso comes up nice and tall. Fingers reach towards the ceiling. And then allow yourself to balance, pressing that right foot and right knee down into the floor to get a little bit deeper into it. One more breath. And then exhale your hands to the floor, both on the inside of that foot. So that front foot turns to the parallel side of your mat, and straighten that back leg. You're going to bring one hand to either side of the floor on the left knee and squat down over that left heel. And then turn your right toes towards the sky. This gives you a nice stretch on the inner hamstring on that right leg. And then bring the right foot down to the floor, straighten the left, walk your hands across, bend the right knee, and turn your left toes towards the sky. Pardon my back, I just want you to be able to see what's happening. And then press that left foot down into the floor, straighten the right knee, and turn towards the right side. So you're turning your feet, coming into that pyramid again, fingertips into the floor, shoulders down the back. And on the exhale, relax down over that right thigh. Inhale, straighten the elbows, come back up to a flat back. Exhale, relax over that thigh again. Inhale, nice flat back. And then very softly bring that right hand to the ankle, a block, or the inside. Turn your left heel so your toes point 90 degrees. And bring that left hand to your back. Roll the right shoulder under you. Take the left shoulder back. And then open up that left hand towards the sky. Staying in your triangle pose for 3 breaths. And on the next inhale, let yourself come back up to tall, arms out of either side of your shoulders. And then step that left foot back in. Come back to the center of your mat. Your hands come to your heart. Inhale all the way up. Exhale to one side. Inhale to the center. And exhale to the opposite side. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale your hands to your heart. Turn your fingertips towards the floor. And then bring them back up to center. Nice deep breath. Exhale your hands to your hips. Allow your eyes to either close or draw down towards the floor. And just allow yourself to collect. Be aware of your sensations. Yeah, for a deep relaxation is to make sure that you're comfortable. Put your socks on. If you don't have a blanket and you have some socks, that's a good idea. Go ahead and cover your legs.
I'm going to go to sleep if I get in that position.
If that's what happens, then that's what's supposed to happen. Do you need to be propped up a little bit, Jack? Because we can put another bolster
no.
behind your back.
No thanks. That thing's perfect for my knees.
So we're resting into something called Yoga Nidra. It's yogic sleep. And it's not necessarily for your full night of sleep. You ask your body to remain alert to the sensations that you'll be feeling. So let yourself get comfortable. Maybe roll your shoulders down your back a little bit and then rock your head from side to side very softly. Release any tension there might be in your neck. Let your hands drop to the floor on either side. And then experiment. If you're comfortable with your hands on your belly or your chest, let them settle there. And after you get yourself comfortable, take a little mental inventory of how you feel, and can you become 10 to 15% more comfortable? Relaxing into your posture. We're moving into a deep relaxation where I will guide you through just different awarenesses. There's no right or wrong way to do it. If you can simply become aware of my voice and allow yourself to hear the sounds around you without becoming attached to them. So settling into the wisdom that already belongs to you. Bring your awareness from deep inside you to the forefront, whatever that happens to be. Allowing your position to settle. Allowing yourself to become aware of your breath. The soft, natural rhythm of it. Allow your body to become heavy, relaxing your muscles and your bones. And draw your attention to your mouth, your lips, your teeth. Noticing your gums, the ceiling of your mouth, the floor of your mouth. Take notice of the inside of your right cheek. Notice the inside of your left cheek. Drawing your attention to your right nostril. Feel the sensation of the breath in it and out of it. And moving to the left nostril. Being aware of what that feels. Being mindful of your physical body, your physical sensations. Remaining alert and aware, allowing your thoughts to just drift, not becoming attached to either of them, any of them. Notice if there's any emotion inside of you. Or notice if there is no emotion. Either is right. Either is now. Investigate what you might be feeling. And allow yourself to set an intention for your relax. Noticing that if there is any sound, if you fall asleep, I may come and touch your shoulder if your sleep is having sound, just to bring you back to awareness. And I may move around the room, so you'll hear my steps. And what is your deepest desire? What is it you imagine that you came to this lifetime to do? Something that may be about you. Maybe if you're looking for health, or you have a purpose. Your intention and your desire may have to do with another person or group of people. Some sounds in the room that you may become aware of. We're in a secure space. You can rest where you are. Let your desire emerge easily, so you're not spending too much time thinking or trying to control it. Allow yourself to stay in the present moment. And invite thoughts of, I am peaceful, as opposed to, I will be peaceful. And invite yourself at this time to investigate and discover an inner resource for yourself. Taking yourself to a place that feels calm and settled. Relaxing into it. See if you can create your inner resource, noticing the sounds of it, the smells, the temperature on your skin, the colors of where you are, whether you're with another person, someone you care very deeply about, or if you're alone. Whatever this inner resource is, it creates a sense of calm and love through you and around you. And know that this inner resource is available to you at any time, wherever you are. If you need to find something to help you de-stress or simply come into your own self and be in the present moment, you're welcome to draw on this inner resource. And then let go of the vision of that resource, that space, that time, and allow yourself to be the love that's in it. Simply settling into your own self. Notice that sense of calm. Sense your body. Feel the weight of it on your mat where you are. Begin at the scalp. Allow yourself to relax the muscles around your face, softening into the mat. Feel the weight of your head against it. And allow yourself to be aware of your right ear. And then take your attention to your left ear. Be aware of your forehead. The softness in the forehead. The space between your eyebrows. Draw your attention to your eyes. The lids softly closed, or the eyes open, and the gaze very soft. Feel the right nostril and the left nostril. Be aware of the right cheek and the right jaw. Be aware of the left cheek and the left jaw. Taking your attention to your neck. Just allow yourself to be aware of it, that space behind the neck away from the floor, the temperature in the room on the skin of your face and neck. Allow yourself to feel the blanket across you or the clothes against your chest and your shoulders. Be aware of the sounds in the room and just let them go by. Noticing your right shoulder and your right arm. Being aware of the sensations of the right hand settled onto the floor or onto your torso. Allow a radiant sensation to run through that right shoulder and right hand. And then take your attention to your left shoulder and your left hand. Allow that inner radiance to fill that left shoulder and left hand. Feel the weight of your torso and your back against the floor. Feel the blanket or the heaviness of the shirt against your chest and your belly. Allow that inner radiance to come forth through your torso. And noticing your back body against the floor, the hips, the sacrum, that triangle bone between your hips. Relaxing the buttocks against the mat. Feeling the softness in your right thigh, the right knee, and the right lower leg. Down into your right foot. Invite yourself to feel the radiance inside that right lower body. And then drawing your attention to the left side, the left hip, buttocks, thigh, the left knee, the left foot. And settle into the radiance of that left side. Allow yourself to dissolve into being. Letting go of any thought. And if this is a place where you need to return to your inner resource, invite yourself to do that. And bring yourself to counting backwards from 6, 7 through to 1. Feeling your torso expand on the inhale. And on the exhale, the torso relaxes and you count 7. Inhaling and expanding again. And on the exhale, count 6. And so on. If you notice at any point that you've lost count, simply go back to 7. Keeping the numbers on the exhale. Settling into the fullness of the breath. And the sensation of empty on the exhale. All the while allowing a natural breath, a natural rhythm, remaining alert and attentive. And then let go of the counting. Let go of the numbers. Allow yourself to let go of thought. And again, drawing your attention into your physical body. Notice any sensations that you might find. Is there a place that might be tight? Simply be aware of where that is. And can you attach yourself to the opposite of tight in that place, inviting a softness or a letting go. And then return to tight. And then take yourself to soft. Simply being aware of what's happening in the sensation, where it is, moving back and forth between the tight and the softness. Simply notice it. Where might you feel heavy? And can you invite a lightness into that place? Welcome any emotion that might arise. You can also be aware that you can welcome the absence of an emotion, knowing that each is exactly where you are, and each is perfect for this moment. Letting go of any thought. Simply notice if there are changes or no changes. Allowing yourself to be aware of your natural breathing, that the body takes care of itself. The heart continues to beat. The breath continues to come and go. The body takes care of itself, inviting you to pure experience. Simply being aware. Letting thoughts pass. And allow yourself to locate somewhere inside you a belief you have about yourself. Whatever that belief tends to be. Breathe into it. Settle into the idea of that belief. And then I would ask you to notice, would an opposite belief be helpful at this point? Either is right. Entertaining both may be an option. Simply acknowledge it. Having a simple and pure experience with both beliefs, knowing that each is valid. Everything is perfect at this very moment. Invite yourself to notice a sense of joy inside you. Allow that joy to radiate as a smile, maybe inside your chest or inside your heart. Feel that fullness and the radiance of it moving out into your limbs, filling your torso. Maybe that joy spreads inside your face, filling each cell. Let it move to your throat. Notice where you might be aware of it. Allow that joy to fill your cells with a sense of aliveness. Inviting yourself to dissolve into spaciousness. Allow a sense of openness and safety. Is there a center to this feeling somewhere inside you? Are there perimeters to this feeling anywhere inside you? Either is correct, either is perfect. And as you continue to breathe, inviting yourself to remain alert to what's happening inside you, reflect on your experience. Notice the journey you've been on as you relax and allow that deep settling into your space. And very softly bring yourself back to the awareness of the room, the sense of your body against the mat, gravity. Draw your attention to a bit of a deeper breath. Very slowly, beginning to come back. Allowing a deeper breath. Very softly bringing your hands together just in front of your heart. Maybe rubbing them together for a little bit of heat. And as you begin to come back, setting your hands over your face, allow your eyes to open and adjust to the light inside the palms of your hands. And whenever you're ready, in your own time, bring yourself back to sitting. Just let your gaze drop towards the floor in front of your ankles or knees. Everyone tends to come back in their own time. It's obviously been a successful workshop. So if you would, close the class with me. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Bow your head towards your fingertips. And I want to say thank you for being here. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you. Yay.